Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Elizabeth, and today we're going to go over 9 tips to help your kids with money as they age. So when they are little, when they are teenagers, and when they are young adults. So here's a couple of tips that could hopefully help you about the things that you should be talking about, maybe what's age appropriate, and the things to really make sure you focus on during those times. Let's get started. The reason I'm talking about this is because it's up to us to teach our kids. I know a lot of school systems, especially in Virginia, they actually have personal finance as a required course, but also it's the conversations that we have with our kids and with our young adults and with our teenagers, because at the end of the day, sometimes in class, they're listening, but maybe they're not. I know sometimes I was ready for information and other times I wasn't quite ready for the information. So sometimes having your family, a trusted adult, your parent help you can really help. Or maybe you have a friend's parent, talk to them, because sometimes depending on your kid, they will listen to somebody else. It just depends on the situation. So you read your own situation and figure that out. But you have to have the conversations in order to help them, right? And so my wish for my son is more transparency. So I'm definitely going to be talking about probably even more than some of these things, because I just want him to know, even if we spend money on a car, how much was that car? How much did we spend? I don't want to hide things. I think sometimes you can worry, especially if you're not in the best financial situation, etc. But explaining things like how much things cost, or how much things are, or the struggles, or hey, here's a budget, and starting to get them to see these things, or delayed gratification, or stuff will not make you happy. So I know it's fun to go get this new toy, but it's not going to fulfill you, and you're probably going to move on and get over it after a while. So there's so many things. I can do a more intense video, but let's go ahead and go over the brief tips that I really want you guys to focus on with your kids, and I'm going to focus on with my son. So for young kids is to start introducing the value of money, start talking about money, what it is, and that they want to make money. So if you can have them do activities around the house, if you can help them, I know a lot of people are mixed on allowance, but helping them to maybe do certain tasks that you're like, all right, I'm going to pay for this, or opportunities for them to make their own money, or to contribute around the house, or to do certain things. And then with that, you want to have them buy things for themselves. And so a lot of times, if your child buys things with their own money that they worked for, right? So it's not just, here's some birthday money, which honestly, for some kids, I know for me, that would have been like, I have to spend my own money. And so that would have been a big deal too. But a lot of times when maybe you worked for multiple hours and then you bought this one thing, especially some of these electronics and things can be so expensive, it really helps them see. And it also not only helps them see the value of money, but it helps them to take better care of things. I know you might be like, be careful with the couch or do this, because you paid for it, right? You feel that more attachment because you spend your hard-earned time and money on it. And so you want to create a way for your kids to see that their hard-earned time and money, see how they want to spend it, and do they want to spend it, and how do they want to take care of their items and take care of the things that they have. Number 2 is to emphasize saving, right? So we might make money and they might be like, ooh, what can I buy with this? But instead say, how much can I save? So trying to get them, every time you make money, every time you get money, guys, you want to save at least 10% or 15% or whatever you want to do for your family. And so start that habit now, right? We talk about with millionaires and billionaires, they pay themselves first. Successful people and wealthy people pay themselves first. So have your child, if it's not innately in them, some kids, it's just their personality, they are more savers, but others you're going to have to work with them and start training that mindset to go, oh, I got $25, I'm going to save this much, and then I have this much to spend, right? Some people also take it a step further with save, give, and then what they have to spend, or the saving can be invest, give, spend. So it's totally up to you, but just really start putting in their mind about saving first. Along with this is starting to introduce them to investing. So you could say, hey, we want to save our money, but then you also want to start talking about investing. What is it? Maybe you can show them your own investments, or show them how to. There's so many things out there online, but tell them about what investments can do. And I would show them a compound interest calculator. Sometimes you need that visual. Hey, look, if you put this much money in, look how much it's going to grow over time. They may be like, what? And that might be motivating for them, because it's like, hey, I know you want this little car right now, but if you actually save it and invest it, you could get this many cars or whatever down the line. So really introduce this topic, because some kids already are with it. They know about saving. Like, I knew about saving and I was committed to it. I'm like, I'm going to save my money. But I had no clue about investing. And I think it was this like big complicated thing. You had to pick random stocks. You didn't know what to pick. But that's where talking about index funds can really, really be helpful. And just knowing about a target date index fund or just regular index funds for your kids. The low cost index funds typically do well over time. And so just that basic information and even helping them get started with an account is really, really helpful. Anytime you can help them do it themselves or walk through it with them and help them see is really, really important. All right. A lot of times telling the information is helpful, but actually helping them do it and walk through it is going to be even better. Number 4, I would also encourage like just having a frank conversations with money, like being very open and honest, and then talking about also like, what is money for, right? And so what is money for? And starting to have some of these little conversations and just make it not this taboo thing. And I think the more transparent you are, the more likely that they'll be successful with money and that they're not going to be scared and they're going to be prepared, right? Knowledge is power. Like, being informed is going to help your kids instead of just keeping them in the dark on it. And so that's where you have to get to a good place with yourself and be confident enough to share and be willing to share the information with your kids, because it's going to help them and you want your kids to succeed. All right, so next, what about for your teenagers? So your teenagers, you want to encourage, number 1, a summer job. Or a job anytime during the year. Maybe they have sports and other things going on. So that's why a lot of people pick at least the summer. And so where they're actually having to spend time working, where they're getting income. And then this is some time where you could start talking about what then do they do with the money, because they'll see they have to put in the work and the time and the hours, and then they'll get their paycheck or they'll get some pay. And so what do they then do with it, and helping them allocate it. You can also open a bank account. If you haven't already, you could do this when the kids are younger, an investment account and a bank account. I do recommend doing those things, but you can go ahead and start with that. Start getting them working. Now, if they're working, you can start a Roth IRA. So if they started working earlier, that's totally fine. This is definitely just like by this age, they probably should be working or doing something. But a Roth IRA, so I have a custodial Roth IRA video on my channel and information more about just a regular Roth IRA, but it's a tax shielded account for people who are making money like through a W-2. And what you do is it's taxed before you put it in, but then once it's in, it grows tax free and you could take it out tax free. And over time, it'll compound and it can make your child a multimillionaire just by investing a little bit of money starting young. And so starting having those conversations too about invest early and often. And those are the main principles for investing, is to invest early and often and to stay in the market. And so if your kids can start sooner, that would be great. And what you can do as a parent, you can invest. Some people will match their money. You could also just make sure they're taking a portion of what they're making and putting it in. You can only invest up to a certain limit. Right now in 2023, it's $6,500. So if they're making that, you want to definitely see if you could put enough in there. That's where maybe if that's what they made, like if you are able to match it, that can really help your kids. It's totally up to you, but consider a Roth IRA. It's a great way to introduce them into some of these tax shielded accounts and to show them the power of compound growth. And taxes are probably one of the things that they'll spend the most amount of money and that we spend the most amount of money in our life. So any way to reduce that and any opportunity that the government gives you to reduce your taxes is a good one and one to take advantage of. Number 5, this might be a good opportunity to introduce a credit card. Now, some people might think it's too young. This is from an expert, and so it's totally up to you. You are the expert on your child. And so remember, I have a whole video on what a credit score is and how to improve your credit and what you need to do to be careful about it. Like credit, honestly, I don't really recommend credit cards. I know it is important. You can have your child become an authorized user. You can help them, or you could do like a mock credit card thing. And like have them make some payments for you and help them to remind them until maybe you think they're able to, because once their credit is ruined, like it is hard to improve it. So just be mindful because their brains and stuff are still developing. They're still pretty young. But even just talking about having the conversation about credit and what it is and how it can be damaging, and how like showing them, hey, you have this money from working. This is money in your account that you own. A lot of people pull out credit and it can really end up hurting them if you're like, ooh, I have $1,000, but really you have $500 in here. And so you don't have $1,500, but with a credit card, it makes you seem like you do. And so just having these conversations and making them aware, because this is a common mistake. A lot of people think, oh, it's a credit card. It's no big deal. It's part of our society. Everybody has one. But really talking about some situations and walking through your child with it and seeing what questions they have can really be a candid and helpful conversation. Right, when they're young adults. So honestly, some of these things you can do sooner, but definitely by this time, you should be having the conversation. So helping them set a budget, maybe they're out of college, maybe they're on their own, helping them to see how much money they're making and what they can do with their money, right? And so as a young adult, you might be wanting Netflix, you might be wanting to go do these things with your friends and stuff, but you might only have a certain amount of money. So helping them navigate that so that they don't get too much into debt at a young age is really important. You can also start talking to them about assets and how wealthy people, they have assets. I can start talking to this about at any age, but so a job can be an asset, but you're trading your time for money, but how can you eventually buy some of these assets instead of just buying stuff? So I think that's a big thing with people. Of course, we have to buy some stuff, but trying to move their thinking and their minds away from just this spending, or we just want to accumulate things, and how can we accumulate or own things that will actually produce money? And so we could talk about all of those different ways and things. I think that really helps your kids, because I think we do have a focus on like going to school, getting educated, getting a good job, which I do think is important, but then you're stuck in that job and maybe your kids will like that. Like I know a lot of kids, that's just what they want to do. They want to be an engineer. They want to do like a traditional job. But trying to get them to think about other ways or passive ways to make money or assets that they can own, etc., can really be a game changer in their life. And encourage them to stay invested. So this was something that I remembered from college, is to just stay in it, ride the storm. And so don't be scared. The stock market's going to go up and down. And so I think the more information you can give them and arm them with is helpful. And that's like, it helped me because I didn't want to invest for a long time because I wasn't told about index funds. I didn't know about index funds and things. And I'm like, how do I pick like a diamond stock or crypto or like, I don't know what's going to be successful and I don't want to lose all my money, but then people are telling me that I need to invest and like that I'm not going to be making money and my money is going to go down in value if I don't. And so just encouraging them to know what type of investments they should do, but then to stay with it, and that over time their money will go up, and just to ignore it and ride the ups and downs. It's just like life. There's ups and downs, but eventually you'll be all right in the end. So those were just a few little tips and things that you should maybe consider talking to your kids about. Honestly, if you can be as open and transparent as possible and really getting them to see money as a tool and see how it works in the society and how different ways they can earn money, different ways that money can and assets can earn them more money and get cash flow and different things, and how they can be a saver and an investor and they can be an owner is really, really important. And showing them like, how much do things actually cost? How much do they actually need? I really wish that this exercise would have been done with me. And so I just recommend anything that you can do to teach them more lessons and to help them see like, hey, if you do this job, this is how much things cost, and you're going to do really well and you're going to be thriving. You're not going to be worrying about money. But if you do this job, like that's okay. But then things cost this much and you're going to really struggle, or you're going to need to find some ways to get more money or have a partner that makes a lot of money or whatever. Like I never really thought about that, which is good because I just went and found, I think you don't want to make all your decisions based on money. Like do things that you enjoy, find a person or a spouse that you actually enjoy instead of just marrying them for the money and stuff. But it just is something to think about and to be aware about. And so just think about those things, right? So I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you have any tips? Do you have any things that you would talk about with your kids or you recommend talking about with other kids? Let me know in the comments below. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want more videos like this on the channel, I'm happy to do more of them. And subscribe for more videos and share with a friend if you think it would be helpful to them on improving themselves and their financial situation and their life. So thank you for being here. I hope you have a great day. You got this, guys. Bye.